Teesh, that's all I'm on. Teesh, that's all I'm on. Sexton out here being a professional lapper. What's up, my dudes? So this was the other big drama thing that happened in this San Diego 450 main event. Okay, basically, Aaron Plessinger gets out front. Okay, Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac were so far back that they were both getting lapped. All right, so then Webb comes around. Webb starts trying to lap Chase Sexton, and then basically Sexton jumps a jump beside him and then kind of lands in front of him and goes over in front of him a little bit and holds up Cooper Webb. Okay, and trust me, I still completely agree with when you're a lapper, you are not in the race. You are back there in Timbuktu. You're not a part of the race. So don't try to be a part of the race. All right? But just like with anything, there's a fine line. There's a, right there on that line between where you didn't make it easy on the guy to pass you, but you also didn't just completely kill the guy that was trying to pass you. There's kind of a, there's a little line there. I can see where some people say that Sexton went a little bit over that line. I can also see where some people have the opinion where he was right on that line between doing too much. I can understand the frustration from Webb. It's like, get the fuck out of the way. You're a lapper. I can see the Webb fans getting upset. I can see the Plessinger fans being like, it is what it is. Like I say, it would have been a little different had Webb been trying to lap Sexton for the past 7 corners and he just couldn't do it, and then that happened. But that didn't really seem to be the case, Both Sexton and Tomac were basically on a similar level of the top 2 guys, even though they were getting lapped. Eli Tomac wasn't making anything easy on Aaron Plessinger either. I mean, you saw in the broadcast where Tomac was, basically breathing down Plessinger's tailpipe as a lapper for many, many laps there. It's kind of funny. It's like these boys don't know how to get lapped because they're not used to getting lapped, you know what I'm saying? But you can say that Tomac wasn't making anything easy on Plessinger either. So I don't know. I kind of look at this as kind of like Webb just got the shit end of the stick on the situation, basically. He was just starting to lap Chase Sexton, and it was kind of like he took the inside rut, but Sexton was already going around the outside, and Sexton basically just doubled in that big double. And then it kind of I don't know if Sexton messed up in the kind of slick conditions a little and it made him come over in front of Webb. I don't know exactly. Obviously, it's you can tell Sexton wasn't making things easy on Webb, but for him to be trying to intentionally take out Webb, I can't necessarily see that either. I just think he wasn't making it easy on the guy because obviously his teammate is barely out front, going for the win, that sort of a thing. And then obviously Cooper Webb gives, Chase Sexton the finger when he's going by, right? But also to some people that are saying, that costed Cooper Webb the win, I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, yeah, it didn't help his chances, but also, he would have had to have caught up to Plessinger and then passed Plessinger, and I can promise you right now, that late in the race, Plessinger would not have made that easy. Going for his first 450 win ever, he would have fought tooth and nail for that. I know Cooper Webb's a late race charger, but even if that wouldn't have happened between Sexton and Webb, I still don't necessarily think that Cooper Webb would have won that main event. And also, you got to think of Cooper Webb had his own mistake in that first rhythm section 3 or 4 laps before the Chase Sexton lapper incident. That's what really killed the opportunity for Webb to have won that race. That's what really put him back there. He was catching Plessinger, then he had his own mistake in that rhythm, and it was oh man, he's going to have to remount a charge here, So really, at the end of the day, Webb made his own mistakes, and that really is what put him back. And then it was just kind of icing on the cake when Sexton, didn't make it easy on him to get around him. And then that put him even further back, made it even harder for him to pass Plessinger, that sort of a thing, But yeah, I mean, personally, I think Sexton was trying to play right on that line between, I'm not going to make things easy for Webb to pass me because obviously my teammates out front, but also I'm going to try to not make it super obvious that I'm really causing a problem to Webb to the point where I would get penalized here. That's the way I see it. He was right on the line between those two things. He may have went over it just a touch when he went in front of Webb a little bit, but you got to think of it like Webb was just starting to pass him. It wasn't like Webb was right behind Sexton trying to get around him for the last 7 corners and, Sexton was just really holding him up. It wasn't necessarily like that either. It was like Cooper Webb was in a big hurry to try to get to the front for good reason, and he just, that's the one corner where, Sexton was already going outside, which is going to set him up to hit that double, and then Webb goes inside, where it kind of makes where the two lines kind of come together a little bit. I mean, like I say, Tomac wasn't making things easy on Plessinger either, so there was a little bit of, it goes both ways there. It just happened to bite Webb a little bit worse, but technically there was both teammates of the two guys out front were also in the back getting lapped, causing an effect to the front running of the race. It just so happens Sexton caused a little bit more of an effect than Eli Tomac did. And when you're lapping guys, like Sexton or Tomac, you know what I'm saying? They're obviously going to be going around the track better than some random privateer. I mean, that's just, they're fighting for positions. They're thinking of every position they get is for the championship. So, it's going to be a little bit different when you try to go lap a Tomac. It's going to be a little bit different when you try to go lap a Chase Sexton. Even if there wasn't like team tactics going on here, you know what I mean? That's just the way I see it, man.